use a little Eric Clapton. This is from the Unplugged sessions before you accuse me. So just play along with the intro, and I'll show you what's sort of going on there roughly, and then I'll skip straight to the chorus. Sorry, the solo section. I'll show you what's happening here as well.
You know what?
Okay, so I got a phone call in the middle of that video, so it stopped just after the intro, but that's cool. I'm going to just take off where I left off with that. So it's based the intro. All that movement there is based around what we call a descending dominant 7 chord, and the full chord is this one here, where you have your first finger on the 2nd fret, which is on a D string, which is an E tone. My third finger's on the 4th fret on the G string, which is a B. It's the 5th chord. The 2nd finger is on the D here at the 3rd fret on the B string. It's the flat 7 of the chord. And the pinky is on the high E string at the 4th fret here on the G sharp tone, which is the major 3rd of the chord. So what we do is we take this chord, but what we do is we just get rid of the first finger. I just wanted to show you the whole full chord. So if you were playing it somewhere like up here in A7, you have to obviously bar the 7th fret here, top 4 strings on the D string to the high E string there to have all the intervals in the right place for that chord shape. Anyway, so back to the 2nd fret, that's with the first finger. And what I want to do is I want to replace this part of the shape with these fingers. It's a little bit easier to play. So the first finger is on the B string, 3rd fret on the D, which was, remember, was the flat 7 of the chord. My 3rd finger is on the G sharp, which is the major 3rd of an E dominant 7 chord on the 4th fret. And 2nd finger is also on the 4th fret on the G string. And we play with this shuffle feel. And then we move it down 1 fret, then 1 fret again, and then this is hammer on, which is an E chord. We do is just hammer on, so the first finger just hammers on to the 1st fret on the G string, and all I'm doing is, you can do a trill, which is where you take the first finger and you do a series of hammer-ons and pull-offs. Hammer on, pull-off, hammer on, pull-off, hammer on, pull-off. And you get that sound there. And then I just, at the top of that, just grab the B and that high E string. So you have... And now the next fill goes something similar to this. This is how I'm playing it anyway. So he's playing out of this minor and blues scale here, but holding down the 3rd fret on the top 2 strings, and then you just strum the same top 2 strings. So it's and that just goes. It's the 3rd fret on the B string, and then we go to the G string and we do this descending line, which is frets 3, 2, 1. So it was, and actually when I get to that 1st fret, I do the hammer on to the G again, G sharp, sorry, hammer on to the G string, but it's a G sharp tone, and pick those top 2 strings instead of the hammer on like we did the first time. So it's cool. And now the rest of the song, really most of the verses is based around, I'm just going to show you a very basic shuffle pattern, not the slightly more varied version that Eric himself plays, and you feel where the low and the different parts are playing. But and this is the feel we're after. Okay, so all I'm doing here is I got my first finger on the second fret on the A string, and what I do is the right hand is playing the E string as well as the A string. And what we do is we go, so you notice that I brought my third finger across here to the fourth fret on the A string, which is the C sharp. So we have an E to a C sharp. So it has, sorry, a B to a C sharp on the A string. Now, if you're wondering how to get that sound at home, you've got to have the shuffle and you've got to have the muting. Now, the muting is when I just, after I've struck each chord, you hear I stop it. Now, it's actually a combination of both the left hand and the right hand. I want to do a quick shortcut for you, maybe just to drop your right hand down. See that? After I've struck. So each time you struck the chord, you drop your hand down on the strings. Strike it again, drop your hand down, it starts. Now, if you use that in unison with just lifting this left hand off the chord that you're playing on the A string, of course, with your first finger, and then your third finger, so you don't take the finger right off the string, you want to just take the string off the fretboard. And again, of course, if you don't know what some of this stuff is, come and get lessons, or if you want more in-depth lessons, I'm sure there's more in-depth lessons on YouTube and stuff, but again, this is just some nice quick fire lessons to give you heaps of stuff to do and new skills to learn and new songs to learn, and so you can have fun at the same time. Play the stuff with your friends. People love this music. It's blues. It's very rootsy. It's very raw and pure and beautiful and ugly and aggressive, and it can be all those things. But anyway, so back to the technique. Alright, so just slightly, just lift the finger, take the pressure of the finger a wee bit, so just the string lifts off the fretboard so that the finger doesn't come off the string, okay, and that'll give you that disconnected sound there. It's hard to hear because the low E strings are ringing, so if I get rid of that you get this. If I just pick the A string without putting my right hand down like I showed you earlier on. That's the sound you actually want. Right, and now when we add it with the low E string as well, you get. Now if I put the right hand down and do what I showed you earlier as well, then you get this. Cool, isn't it? It's a very cool way. So then the next chord is, so that's an E. This is an A. So all we do is we move our fingers to the next set of strings towards the floor. Exactly the same fingering pattern, exactly the same technique with the left and right hand. Right, back to the E. To A. E. Get the idea? See how much of this you can work out. And that's very, very much it. There's a lot of other little fills in that. I'm going to show you a couple of them. I'm going to stop the video to save space, and then I'll do another one, and I will show you some excerpts from the solo parts as well as some of the fills during the verses and that. Okay, so I'm going to show you some of the scales and tones that are used, and some of the fills that Eric's using during before you accuse me, and then I'll show you some of the parts of the solo for you to construct your own solo with. So a lot of the fills are based around this. Scale. Just E minor and E minor pentatonic and E minor blues. But I'll just show you where the tones are. So fret 3, 2, and the open string on the high E string. So that's some of the tones you're using out of the scale. And same thing again on the B string. And when we get a G string, it'll be 3, 2, and then you've got the minor third, which is the G here, and then you can hammer on to that G sharp on the first fret. So you can have notes that go, or so that feel, rather than so play around with it and have some fun with those. See if you can pick out where some of those tones are during the fills. The solo starts with this idea. So now this this intervallic idea, these dyads are on the starts on the 9th fret on the high E string on the C sharp, and then this A note here on the 10th fret on the B string. Right. And what you do is you slide into this shape. So you pick these first two and you slide them both up. Now the first finger goes up 1 fret and the third finger goes up 2 frets to the 12th fret. So the first finger goes to the 10th fret on the high E string, third finger goes to the 12th fret on the B string. Right, and then we go back to the first shape, and now we take the first shape and move it down 2 frets. Okay, so we have and then you hear the other guitars go. The second time through just does a variation of that same pattern. But again, these videos aren't meant to be note for note instructional ones. They're really just quick snippets to give you some clues as to how the stuff's played, and to let you work a lot of it out on your own so that you can be your own musician as well. But anyway, so he's using the same shape again. And then what happens is this little lick that goes. Okay, so it's around the A. What happens is it starts on the 4th fret, and I'm using my second finger for this, so I will show you this lick. Second finger, 4th fret on the G string, and you want to slide it, so you pick it and slide it up to the 6th fret, then put your first finger down on the B string on the E note there at the 5th fret, and then pick the high open E string, so you get go. So those are fret 7, 6, 5, and then that's just a bend on the 8th fret on the B string, and then my first finger is playing the E again on the B string here at the 5th fret. So that whole lick again, real slowly. I'll play it for you slowly. Count in 3, 4, and that's watch out for that part. And then he repeats that motif a wee bit. So again we do this 7, 6, 5 on the high string. Now we've got a quarter step bend on the B string. And then we pick the high E string at the 5th fret. So you and then which is just outlining our A dominant chord, which is 5th fret, B string, and then my second finger's on the 6th fret on the G string, and C sharp. So that whole entire lick real slow is like this. 3, 4. Have fun with that and get up to speed. And then you hear just a little bit later on that solo. So it's just the 7th fret on the B string, followed by 2 open E strings, and that's frets 9, 8, 7. So this is over the B dominant chord, and that's the A note here on the 10th fret. So what I just played was this. That's an open E string again. So again, I'm not going to show you exactly where all this stuff is. I want you to actually use your ears and hear where these parts are played. The idea is to work on these little snippets, these whatever they are, and try and get them up to speed, and then try and play them in the song, in context of the song. Listen to where Eric's playing them, and then see if you can play along with him, and that'll help with your timing as well. So again, the slicker just played over this B dominant 7. And what I do with this slicker is I slide in, like we did at the big, after the little intervallic things, right? And then we went, right? Well, it's the same idea again. So you slide into the C sharp, so 2nd finger, 4th fret, G string. And then 1st finger on the 5th fret here on the B string, followed by the open E string, and then 7, 6, 5 on the E string, and then back to our quarter step bend on the 8th fret on the B string, back to the 5th fret on the high E string, back to our quarter step bend on the B string, 8th fret, and back to the 5th fret on the high E string. So all you got to do is see if you can get all that stuff up to speed now.